Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas using the source material itself. Today, we're digging into a really fascinating concept called the intelligence inversion. It's all about how the entire game of enterprise AI is set to flip on its head over the next 3 years.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. If you think about it, the last 1,000 days of AI, man, it felt like a mad dash, right? Everyone was piloting chatbots, rolling out copilots. It was all about experimentation. But the next 1,000 days, from now until late 2028, that's going to be a totally different ballgame. The core challenge isn't just about what AI can do anymore. It's shifting to something much, much bigger. And this brings us to the core idea we're exploring today, the intelligence inversion. Put simply, the whole problem is flipping. For years, we've been waiting for AI models to get smarter. Well, guess what? They're getting there. Soon, the AI is going to be so capable that the real bottleneck, the thing that's actually slowing progress down, is going to be your own organization. And this quote, it absolutely nails it. The AI's ability is about to seriously outpace our corporate plumbing. The models will be ready to reason, to remember, to act. But the real question is, will we be ready for them? Is your data clean enough to feed them? Are your safety guardrails strong enough to control them? Is your company even set up to let them work? That, right there, is the inversion.
So this huge shift isn't just happening out of the blue. It's actually being powered by 3 specific and kind of overlapping technological waves that are all fitting at once. First, we're seeing models go from just spotting patterns, kind of like a super smart parrot, to actually performing reliable, verifiable reasoning. Second, they're moving beyond having the memory of a goldfish. Instead of forgetting everything after each chat, they're developing real long-term memory. And third, and this is a big one, we're moving from copilots that just help you do a task to agents that can actually do the task for you. These 3 things are the engine driving this whole inversion. Now, what's really cool is that this isn't some far-off sci-fi future. We can actually map out the next 1,000 days into 3 pretty clear overlapping phases. It starts with getting the foundations right, then moves to deploying what are called digital workers, and finally, we arrive at a state of what's called bounded autonomy. So, Phase 1. This is happening right now as we speak, and it's going to carry us into 2026. This phase is all about taking the amazing AI tricks we have today and turning them into real, solid, measurable business value by actually embedding them in how we work. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got what the big tech companies are shipping. Models with better reasoning, early memory features, huge context windows. So, what's your job? Well, that's on the right. It's your homework. Standardize your platforms, figure out your integration architecture, pilot some smart use cases, and, this is absolutely crucial, get your governance in place from day one. And what's the payoff here in this first phase? Well, it's mainly about augmentation. We're not talking about replacing people, we're talking about making them way faster and more effective. For teams that really embrace these better copilots, you're looking at real productivity gains, somewhere in that 5 to 20% range. That's nothing to sneeze at. Okay, now as we start rolling into 2026 and 2027, we hit phase 2. And this is where things start to get really, really interesting, because memory and agencies start to mature, and our whole relationship with AI at work begins to change. So the focus shifts. We'll start seeing these specialized digital workers pop up for things like IT support or finance. And your job? It's to start making that move from just having copilots to actually deploying these workers. And that requires a pretty big architectural lift. You have to invest in clean, stable digital doorways. That's basically what APIs are, so these agents can talk to your systems. And you have to start treating them like any other critical service with real performance goals. The business impact here really starts to compound. You're automating whole chunks of workflows, and this agent plus human team becomes the new normal. In the areas where you get this right, you could see those productivity numbers start climbing into that 10 to 30% range. And that leads us right into the final phase of this roadmap, from 2027 to 2028. This is where we see the arrival of semi-autonomous systems, AI that can operate on its own, but within very carefully defined guardrails. So what's that going to look like? Think autonomous flows in a warehouse, or agents that can resolve an entire class of IT tickets without any human help. To get there, your organization has to do 2 things. First, you have to identify the specific, bounded areas where you're comfortable letting AI take the wheel. And second, you have to build in some serious grown-up safety measures. We're talking strong kill switches, easy rollback options, and using simulation to test for risks before you ever go live. All right, so we've got this three-phase roadmap staring us in the face. The big question for everyone is, how do you prepare? How do you make sure your organization becomes an enabler of all this, instead of being the bottleneck that holds everything back?
The best way to think about it is like a value pipeline. Right now, the breakthroughs are happening in the science. Soon, that science gets turned into engineering tools. Then those tools become actual products. Your job as a leader is to shrink the time it takes to get from the science to the business value by having your architecture and your governance ready to go.
And you know what? This means everyone's job description kind of just got an update. If you're an executive, you need to be deciding where autonomy is acceptable. If you're an architect, you should be building that governance layer, like yesterday. Planners, you can use this timeline to stage your investments. And product owners, you've got to start designing experiences that assume AI is there from the start, with really clear handoffs to a human when needed.
Look, at the end of the day, the intelligence in the software is rising, whether we're ready for it or not. That train has already left the station. And that leaves every single leader with one absolutely critical question. As the models get smarter and smarter, is your organization's architecture, its operating model, and its governance going to rise to meet them, or are they going to become the new bottleneck?